How's everybody today? Pete here at Spawn Fly Fish, ready to have some more fun with you guys on the vise. It is time for the chum fry. We're starting to see some in the rivers, and although we don't have a lot of prolific bug hatches in this area, this is one of the most exciting hatches, at least in my opinion. So grab your vise, grab your tools. Let's have some fun. In the vise today, we are going to build this beautiful chum fry on the Ahrex FW555 in a size 8. The 554 is the same hook, but it has a barb, so this is simply the barbless version of said hook. For the bead, we do have the 7mm slotted tungsten football bead from Spawn, and this of course in olive. And then I've got 10 wraps of 0.020 lead-free wire, and as you can see, sometimes I'll use a slightly bigger wire that hits the back side of that bead, and today I had 0.020 on hand, so you can see it creeps into the bead a little bit more. Whatever one you prefer, that's the one you should go with. It all depends on what I've got sitting nearby. That's the one I grab, so that's where we're at today. Just going to get some 6/0 thread going here. Really want to make sure there's not going to be any movement on that bead, so I'll put a few passes over those weighted wire wraps and then continue on down. I'm wanting to just give myself a little indicator right there at the very last portion of where the flat part of that hook shank ends, and then I know not to go past that with any of my materials. This is going to play a lot like the wiggle leech that you've seen me tie before, and I guess you could consider it a variant of that. And you'll see as we go along, there's not a lot to this. We'll try to keep it simple because, again, this hatch of chum fry is a big deal. We want to have a bunch of flies ready for it. I do have a small amount of Shaggy dub here in white. You could also use gray. I just like the little bit extra contrast that white gives, especially in some goofy water conditions. White seems to work very well on days that black does not work very well. So I like having that stark contrast. I'm just going to veil it over the thread and then mash it on down to that little spot where I gave myself a little cheat code on where to end that tail. And there you go. That's as difficult as that is. Finish tying that down. Any of these little nubs that stick out to the front, go ahead and get your scissor involved. Cut those out. Nothing to it. And now let's get into the rib. A couple ways you could do this. You could use wire, you could use thread even. But today I've got some Veevus holographic tinsel size medium, and this is black. So I'm going to tie that in first. Again, because it's going to be our rib, doesn't have to be anything specific as far as where it goes, as long as it's tied in all the way back to where that tail starts. That's what we're looking for. And again, that's going to be our rib. For our main body, I've just got some diamond braid, and this is dyed pearl diamond braid. And again, as far as substitutions, flat diamond braid would be great. You can use pearl, clear, silver, any of that would work. And so here I'm tying this a little bit forward compared to a lot of normal tie-ins, and that's because I wanted to cover that little section between where our tail bump is and that weighted wire. So I'm just trying to kind of even out that underbody a little bit before we start wrapping all this goodness. And there's that. Pretty easy so far. So now it is time to get this body material, in this case the diamond braid, and we're just going to do touching wraps here. You don't want to give it too much pressure. If you really pull on this, it's going to stretch it thin. That's not what we're trying to do. These little chum fry are not beefy by any means, but we also want something there for the fish to be able to see. So it's a small presentation. We don't need a thick body or any of that. And that's the extent of our body material. Go ahead and cut that out. And at this point, you can counter rib this if you want. I don't think it's going to matter too much just because of the way it's going to sit, but I'll just wrap it for you normally. So here we go. We're going to incorporate this Veevus holographic tinsel, and we're just going to kind of evenly space it. I don't like that first wrap. There we go. That's better. So evenly spaced, and this will emulate, of course, those little par marks that run on the side of our chum fry. There we go. And again, this is more of a simple version of a chum fry. And if you've ever been fortunate enough to fish chum fry for sea run cutthroat, it is a blast. And when they're on them, they're on them. You better have some of these in your box, otherwise it's going to be a long day for you. All right, so there you can see we've already got something that looks like a small minnow, a little fry, and that's what we're going for. But a lot of times you'll see I tie a lot of orange beads for the chum fry patterns, and I didn't want to do that today. I wanted a more natural look in the front, but I still want that little bit of trigger. So I've got some parapost in, I think this is fire fluorescent orange, but what I'm going to do now is give a hot spot, a very subtle one, so to speak, on the underside only, and it's going to do two things. One, of course, you're going to notice this if you're a fish, but two, it's also going to be a recognition factor based on the little bit of egg sac that these fry sometimes still have attached. So that's the extent of how much I want to put in there, and I'll get in and trim out that excess. And I don't need all of this sitting here. It's just a small amount that I want as a tag almost in the front instead of at the back. And there you go. That once again will cover the hot spot and give the recognition of where that egg sac might still be hanging on a little bit. And now let's get into the top side of this. So I'm going to grab a very small pinch of Spawn chum fry dub, and this is the mega because I'm going to veil this over itself, and I want plenty of length. I don't want to use the regular cut here and come up short. I want this to come back quite a good distance on that tail, and so there we go. I'm not going to tie it directly in the middle again because I want a little bit extra on the back side there, so I'll move it up a little bit, pinch, get that locked in with a couple good wraps. And now, as I veil this back, you'll see I'm going to have plenty of distance to cover all the way back to where that tail ends. And go ahead and get your bodkin out, split this sort of down the middle. It's an odd concept to think of splitting dubbing, but that's what we're going to do. And now when I slick this all back, you'll be able to see that effect that I'm going for. And again, just a little bit goes a long way. We don't want a big clump of dubbing coming off the top there. Try not to catch those underside trigger fibers of parapost. And that's it. What a beauty. So I'm going to turn this back again. And you've noticed I've got a pretty big thread neck going here. I wonder why. There might be a reason for that. Let's go ahead and whip finish this guy. And then we'll move on to why we have that large thread neck. Let's do the second whip finish here. And these fish are going to aggressively attack this little bug, our little chum fry imitation that we've got here. So we want to make this as strong as we can. So now I'm going to come in with just a quick thin layer of some Loon Hardhead Clear. I want to solidify all that work we put into tying our flies, so make sure you're cementing after you finish tying your flies. There we go. And of course, at this point, if I'm tying these, for my own use at home or whatever, and I'm going to tie a dozen or so at a time, I'll just go ahead and let that dry. I'll come back to it after I've had a dozen, and then I'll do all this at once. But what we're going to do now is incorporate something fun, something new. Not necessarily new, but we've got a new source. You may have seen us discuss this in the shop update, but this is our new spawn eye. This one in the color chrome, and this is a size 3mm. Now, one thing you do want to do is have just a little bit of super glue or something like that handy, and I'm going to dot some of that, make sure it's dry enough to go ahead and cover it with super glue. And I'm just going to put a dot on each side here. So I'll do my side, just a little bit of that super glue gel. Don't want a ton of extra. And then I'll do the same on what I consider your side. And this is going to sit, so each eye will be placed right on the edge of where the body ends and where that thread neck is. So again, we had that extra bit of thread neck, and it will look just right once we have these eyes placed. So there's your side. And let me get this one now that I've dropped it on my table here. There we go. 3mm is pretty tiny, but we do carry these from 3mm all the way up to 15mm, which is a big old eye. And there you go. Now this little chum fry can see, and he knows where to swim, and sometimes that's pretty important. And there you have it. Another very simple, very practical sort of chum fry pattern that absolutely gets smashed. I'll give this a few seconds to dry, and then I'll come through with a little bit of resin, and I'll just give a nice, maybe 2 coats of some thin resin, and I know that those eyes aren't going to go anywhere, and it'll protect my fly even longer. So there you have it. Pretty simple, very effective chum fry pattern, and it's going to be super important that you have some of these in your box, especially for sea run cutthroat upcoming. So hope you guys had fun. I always enjoy our time together. And if you do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We will see you all on the water.